Hello, my little learners, you can call me Lovegood, and welcome to the Podfic's Baton Pass for Shutterbug by Iriley. The way this works is that I'm reading chapter 12, Evie is Evil read the previous chapter, and Mouse Satan will be reading the next chapter, passing along who will be reading Shutterbug until the Podfic is finished. The full playlist and the link to this fic are both on my latest post, so please check that out. Now, onto the chapter. So, looking up from his plate of waffles, Jason sees Dick leaning on the counter across from him. "Show," he says, around his bite of waffle. "It's your birthday. Be a little more excited," Dick grumbles, as Jason swallows before putting on a mockery voice, trying to impersonate Dick, most likely. "Oh gee, I'm so excited for my big party with people I don't know. Can't wait for them to try and get on B's good side through me." He holds his fake smile for a moment longer before dropping it and turning back to his plate. "I hate you sometimes." Jason flips him off, but feels the silence when Dick doesn't. "It's not that I mind my birthday. I just don't care for the galas." Dick sends him a remorseful look and adds on, "Such is the life of a kid of one of the richest people in Gotham." Dick shrugs and grabs an apple out of the bowl between them. Jason grumbles but doesn't say anything. "I know it's kind of late to ask, but what do you want for your birthday?" Dick asks before biting into his apple. "Honestly, not a clue." Dick gives him a deadpan look. "Helpful. I try my best." Dick reaches over to slap his arm, but gets caught by Alfred. "Master Dick, do not hit your brother, especially not on his birthday." Dick turns his head to pout, like the child he is, while Jason sticks his tongue out once Alfred is turned away from him. Hearing someone clear their throat, Jason turns to see Bruce. "Happy birthday, J-Lad," taking the offered box from Bruce, and slowly opens it. "Oh, watch?" Bruce nods and his shoulders sag a bit. Looking back at it, Jason realizes. "This is your father's watch." Jason looks up at Bruce for more information. "It's not the same one, but it's a copy. I figured it'd be nice if we both wore it tonight, if you wanted to." Jason nods and slides a watch onto his wrist. "Thanks." It's Bruce's turn to nod. The older man continues to ignore the look his oldest and butler are giving him. "Why don't you invite Peter to the gala? You two seem to get on well." Before Jason can respond, Dick starts. "More than well." Jason doesn't blush, but it's a close thing. "I swear to God, Dick." "For real though, he seems to make you happy. You should invite him." Jason runs a hand through his hair before responding with a sigh. "Isn't he already going to be there for work?" Bruce thinks for a moment before responding. "No, he wasn't on the list for it. I do think some other news sources are on the list, but I tried to keep it to a minimum. You should invite him." Jason slips his phone out to text him, stopping to look at his other messages. Artemis, "Happy birthday, Jay." Biz, "Bad day of birth." Roy, "Happy 20th, Jaybird." Star, "Happy birthday." Sending out his thanks to the outlaws, Jason opens his messages with Peter. Seeing the message bubble pop up as soon as he clicks it, Jason decides to wait. Peter, "Happy birthday. If you have time today, I have something for you." Jason, "Thanks. I was actually about to text you. Would you want to come over for the gala?" Scene, 9:36 a.m. Peter, "If you'll have me." Jason, "See you there." Scene, 9:36 a.m. Peter, smiley face. Peter says he'll come. Bruce nods, and Dick wiggles his eyebrow. Slipping off his stool, Jason makes his way into the garage outside. He tried to work on his bike a while before the gala. Later. Jason opens the door to see Peter in a three-piece suit. Instead of a jacket, he wears a vest, and for the first time Jason's seen him, he doesn't have his camera. "No camera?" Peter blinks but gives him a smile. "Nope, I'm here for your birthday, as a friend, not as press." Jason gives him a smile back before stepping to the side to let him in. Jason leads Peter further into the house before making it into a ballroom. Jason watches as Peter looks around in awe before spotting the others making their way in. Dick and Celine walk in first, with Damien not far behind. "Happy birthday, JJ." Jason nods towards Celine and thanks. Damien finally makes his way over after getting stopped by a caterer. Why would he know where food is supposed to go? "Happy birthday, Todd." Jason smirks a bit and reaches to ruffle Damien's hair. Said boy tries to dodge but quickly spots Peter and resigns to let Jason mess his hair up. This gets a chuckle out of Dick, who later helps the boy smooth it back down. Peter gives his hellos to them before following Jason further. They stop in a side room that has 2 couches and a wall lined with books. We have a little bit before people get here. Figured we could just wait in here. Won't be long before the others do the same though, so enjoy the quiet while it lasts. Peter gives a quiet laugh, but mashes his way over to a bookshelf, grabbing a book with a red cover before sitting on the couch across from Jason, who grabbed his own book and is sat on the other end of the couch. After getting through a few pages, Jason sees Tim and Duke walk in and sit on the other couch to play on their phones. Not long after Steph and Cass make their way in, Cass sitting next to Duke and Steph making Tim move to the floor so she could have his spot. Barbara comes in with Celine, both chatting in hushed volume, seeing the books in hand. Finally, Dick and Bruce make their way in, followed closely behind by Alfred. The guests have arrived. After talking, Alfred turns on his heel to make sure the caterers know what they're doing. Shall we? Bruce gestures to the door. Everyone stands, save for Peter. Looking at the shorter man, Jason sees Peter locked into the book. Giving a quiet chuckle, Jason taps the corner of the book to get his attention. With Peter. Feeling the book shake a bit, Peter looks to see Jason standing. A little to his left is the rest of the Wayne family. Jumping up, Peter closes the book before setting it back on the shelf. When did they get here? Peter gives a sheepish smile. Sorry. Peter gets a few laughs, but they turn to the door before making their way out. Walking into the ballroom, Peter sees it's full of people. Holy shit. Hey, happy birthday, Jason. Peter watches as a tall man walks over, sneaking a small kiss on Bruce's cheek. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. My name's Clark. Clark holds out his hand for Peter to shake. Taking the hand, Peter introduces himself as well. It's nice to meet you, Peter. Bruce has told me all about you. All good things. Peter nods and glances at Jason for help, but just shrugs with a smile. Traitor. Why don't we let them get some food? It's Bruce who leads Clark away. Peter hears the start of a conversation, but quickly tunes them out. Looking back at Jason, Peter notices how the others have scattered around the room. This is mostly for show. Peter looks back at Jason as he talks. We're going to do something small later on. Peter nods. Pointing to the food, Jason asks if he wants to go make a plate before the others get to it. Following the taller man to the table, Peter takes the plate offered to him. Grabbing a roll and a butter packet, Peter moves to grab a sandwich off the tray. Moving through the line behind Jason, Peter takes a cup and fills it with water from the stand. They make their way to the table, and Peter can't help but think of the first gala. It's going to be mostly the same thing all night, just people coming up and talking for a minute before wandering off somewhere else. Peter can tell Jason doesn't care for the galas. Peter can relate. I get that. I went to a few galas with Tony before. They're so boring. Only thing people care about is sucking up to the right people. Jason seems a little shocked at this information but smiles. At least before we'd be able to cause some chaos. But after Dick broke a chandelier, Alfred has warned us from doing anything. Now that's a story Peter wants to hear, and apparently his face says as much, because Jason smirks and starts to tell it. Plates have been cleared, birthday wishes have been said, and now the gala is coming to an end. Standing by Bruce and Clark, Peter talks all about his news job, and how he takes the pictures. Clark had asked him about if he wants to rate any articles, and Peter said he wasn't sure. It would depend on the topic, which Clark could understand. We'll have to steal you to the Daily Planet sometime. Laughing with the taller man, Peter agrees. He hasn't exactly seen anywhere in this world except Gotham. Hearing the click before seeing the flash, Peter glances over to a man with short ash blonde hair and a tan suit. His arm still raised with the camera in his hands. A glance back to the older man shows that they had noticed too. That's... Clark trails off, Bruce continuing where he trails off. One of Lex's people. Peter gives a confused look but doesn't ask. Jason breaks him out of his thoughts by tapping him on the shoulder. Looking up, Peter sees Jason nod towards the door. Taking the out, Peter quietly slips out with Jason, making their way back to the room before Peter pulls out the box he'd hid in there before. Here, this is for you. Peter hands it to Jason, who takes it and sits down on the couch, placing the box on the table in front of him. Jason unwraps it to reveal a black box. Moving the latch up, Peter watches as Jason pulls the lid up. In the box is a handgun. Not just any handgun though. It's a custom WE high kappa 5.2K handgun with a deep red hand grip with black designs running through it. Jason looks up at Peter with a wide-eye expression. I didn't know what you'd want, so I asked Rory, and he said a gun. I don't know much about guns either, so he said you'd like this style, and that your favourite colour was red. The guy I got it from suggested these bullets since they have the same design. Peter knows he's rambling, but he can't stop. Jason says something, but Peter can't hear it. It does break him out of his rambling, though. Huh? Thank you. It's perfect. Peter smiles, and Jason moves to pull something out of his pocket. Frowning when he can't find it, Peter asks what he's looking for. My phone. I was gonna take a picture. He starts to move things around, looking for it. Is your ring wrong? I can cool it. Jason nods, so Peter pulls out his phone. Pulling up Jason's contact and listening to it ring for a moment when a sound starts to come from under the wrapping paper on the floor. It's my way of trying to let you know I've got a little thing for you. The song doesn't continue to play as Jason grabs it and throws it at the wall, effectively lodging it into said wall. Seeing the embarrassed flush on Jason's face, Peter doesn't comment on the ringtone. Tim, that rat bastard, Jason huffs as the phone tries to squeeze out the last few lines. Jason glances at the gun before grabbing it and the ammo. Peter stands up, ready to stop him. I'm gonna kill him. Jason! Alrighty, my little learners, that is a wrap of this one. Yeah, I did not know I had to sing. I did somehow missed it in my reading of this chapter when I was looking over it. Somehow I missed I had to sing. So that was a not great surprise. Sorry for my terrible singing. Sorry you had to hear said terrible singing, but it happened, so. Sorry, half of this chapter is very shaky. My voice is shaky now. I procrastinated on recording, so I had to record now, even though, something slightly medical just happened, but it's fine. Everything's fine. So, my little learners, this is a little reminder that the full playlist and the link to this fic are both on my latest post, so please go check that out. And tags are in the description, as well as warnings. Bye, little learners. Bruce nods, and his shoulders shake a bit. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I don't know what that song is. What? Singing? Are you kidding me? I didn't even notice that when I read through it the first time.